Hello everyone! Hello! We've got the wheel camera, we've got my face camera, and I am going to double check the audio as soon as everything comes through, which is now. Hello! We've got the wheel camera, we've got my face camera. Okay, I just need to I need to reduce it a little bit because I'm closer today. So we'll check that in a second, and I will also just make sure I have the right audio on here. Hi everyone. If I go only to here, and of course it stopped. Here and then here. Okay, that is all looking. Excuse me. Hi everyone. Good. If I go only to here, and of course it stopped. Okay, cool. I was like, I just had to check all of that. Now, you may have seen something a little bit exciting. We'll do some announcements, but first, hello everyone. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and we are currently working on a Dying to Spin series or video, whatever we want to call it. And today we are going to be spinning up some fiber that I dyed 2 weeks ago. Last week, we cleared off all my bobbins, and so, I don't know, oh, that's for the drive fan. That can go over there. We cleared off the bobbins, and I need to figure out where I can go. There we go. And so this is some yarn that I had spun and plied, and I don't know what it's from. This is some yarn that I spun for a behind-the-scenes live stream. I actually took a single and plied it with some silk thread, and I did not have enough twist, so that did not work the way I wanted. But this is some yarn that I actually plied. It is like a rose, and I don't know if it's just like a rose fiber or there's something else in it too, that I dyed with Skittles, with a Paradise Fibers subscription. And it is so soft. Whatever it is, it's unbelievably soft. Okay. Setting that aside, but we do have some announcements. So let's see, but of course, please give the video a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And as for announcements, we have a new pre-order available in the ChemKnits Creations Etsy shop. If I make my way over there. All right, so you'll notice this is still the 2024 Hanukkah sampler. I'll talk about that in a minute. It should remove from featured at some point. Nope, and sometimes the featured listings go a little bit wonky. But the new thing, which is now popping up, is 2025. Please hope I said that in the lesson. Yes, 2025 Mystery Halloween Yarn pre-order. And so there are a few different yarn-based options. And I know you can't see the drop downs when I pull it up, but we have a yak blend, a fingering weight yak blend, a DK weight yak blend, and then we have some no yak options. And so I can go here. We've got the DK weight and then the sock. For the no yak, it is going to be a superwash wool, probably superwash merino, may have some nylon, and you can choose from either fingering, DK, or worsted weight yarn for that. Now, the one thing that's a little weird with the way I have the drop downs and the way that works this time is that if you pick like the yak blend sock, and then it'll only let you pick fingering weight yarn because that's the only one available, but then it won't show the DK up here anymore, and so you have to like unselect things. I don't know, Etsy did not make this simple for me as it was in the preview, and so it's the way it is. But every skein of Mystery Halloween yarn will come wrapped, so that way it is mostly hidden. Sometimes the tissue paper is thin or it slips, but it'll be mostly hidden, so you can choose to unwrap it right away, or you can wait for the yarn dyeing video that'll come out on Halloween 2025. Which I believe is a Friday. So, and each skein will come with a themed progress keeper as well. And so that is a lot of fun. I am going to drop this It's pinned, but it's also dropped into the chat, making sure it's not important. Okay, we're supposed to find out class assignments today, and so, oh no, that's not what I wanted. That needs to come back. I had to drop that so I could see. That is goofy. And then the other thing that I wanted to share, I was like, how do I navigate to all this when my keyboard is all the way over there? Okay, so this is the 2024 ChemKnits Hanukkah sampler. It's only the fingering weight one is left currently. But right now, and I think I put this higher up in the chat, and it's also down in the video description. For the rest of August, you can save 20% off last year's Hanukkah sampler, the 2024 Hanukkah sampler that is ready to ship, wrapped, ready to ship. You can save 20% off using the coupon code 2024 Hanukkah through August 31st, 2025. And there will be a 2025 Hanukkah sampler, but I'm not ready to list that yet. I like to try to wait. No, I didn't want to go to main Etsy. I wanted to go to my shop. I like to try to wait until I have everything figured out before I list the Hanukkah pre-orders. And so I have the yarn. I need to figure out what I'm doing for the bonus games, and I need to figure out and finalize the packaging for this year, and then we can go ahead and move forward. So, yay. Okay. That is that. And oh, there's also some other, which is definitely not, there's some new yarn in the shop as well. I'm really, really excited with this particular color combination here. And so, yeah, there's some new yarns that I added as well. Cool, cool, cool. I don't know why I have that open 3 times. Tukira, there we go. I'm like, oh, but I did want to show again. That's what I forgot.
I have not used my spinning wheel in a couple of years, and now I am dying to spin some yarn. I'm literally dyeing up some roving, some unspun wool fiber here, so that way I can turn this into yarn over the course of a few live streams. For this fiber, I speckled it with acid dyes, letting the dye spread out and layering more color until I got this beautiful fiber that is filled with blues with some hints of pink and teal, and I am just beyond excited to turn this into yarn. Now, the first spinning live stream may focus more on emptying my bobbins because they have some hand-spun yarns on them, and maybe it'll be another week before I actually start spinning this beautiful, luscious fiber, but I'm so excited to finally come back to my wheel and to spin some yarn.
It makes the fibers a little denser, and it takes more time for the dyes to spread through, which means that if you slow down the dyes spreading, then you can get the color more concentrated in one area. And so, yeah, that is how we dyed it. Okay, I need to make sure I can see everything. Oh no, the short audio played? Darn it. Sorry about that, everyone. I had set it up last time to mute it, and I guess I did not today.
I have not used my spinning wheel in a couple of years. And
bummer. Okay, what I was trying to say was how I dyed it. This is why the chat's important, and I can't read the chat very well from where I'm sitting because the computer's too far away. So redoing this, I used the dry dye powder onto our wet roving. And the reason why the color spreads so much is that there's not resist in there from having a twist in the yarn. When you introduce twist, that sort of compresses the fibers a bit, and that adds resist. And so colors are going to spread way more on a non-superwash roving than they might on the exact same yarn base for the same fiber. And now this fiber that I'm going to be dyeing or spinning today is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. It is non-superwash. The fiber came out okay. There was a little bit of bleeding when I went and washed it, but I decided to, at some point I decided to let it go. I did film that. I just haven't done like a short or anything. I decided to let it go so that way I didn't risk felting the fiber. And there was a little bit more surface area felting, or not surface, like surface felting on here than what I might, that's the wrong end. Or was it? Here we go. But it's still going to draft really easily. I don't know if you guys remember when there was one time I decided to spin some fiber a friend sent me. And unfortunately, the friend sent me the fiber that was completely felted. And so it was a lot of work for me to separate it to get something that I could spin. And I was able to in the end. It just took some time. So anyway, I hope that that is better now that I fixed that. And let's get to some spinning. Oh man, okay, I want to go here. And please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Okay, so I think the plan, and I'm going to need to get a bobbin. The plan is to spin counterclockwise. The plies are going to be counterclockwise. So then I can eventually do the plying clockwise. However I decide to ply this. Now, I need help. And it fell on the floor anyway. Brilliant to me. Okay. What I realized is that I also did want to film some of this on the DSLR. Try to get some beauty shots. So I have my camera in here now. Okay, I'm gonna need a bobbin. I should add, I am like a beginning / novice spinner, and I have not spun in years. So it's gonna take me some time to get back in the swing of things. Now onto my bobbin, I have some, I think some acrylic yarn or something that I have as a leader tied on. And I don't know if you can tell, but the plies look really messed up. And that's because I spin in the opposite direction to the way the commercial yarn was plied. And so, yeah, that is a reason why for that. No! I only left the drive band on for one day. I mean, it's still working, but it's already stretched out a bit. You know what? It should be fine. We're going to go on the smaller one. I don't remember the bobbin, which way to do. The smaller this whirl is here, the more, like when I treadle, the more twist per treadle I will get. I'm going to need to find all of my supplies, including my handy dandy little hook, and thank you to whomever pre-ordered, I'm assuming, some Halloween yarn. Where am I going to put you? You are going to go right there. Okay. And so we will get you set up, and then I will probably pre-draft the fiber a little bit. I am feeling all thumbs. Okay, I do not have the the brake band turned on. The brake band is just some twine. Let's see. And it allows me to allow it to get taken up. And so I'll want that tension is something that we will play with over time. Wish me luck. Okay, now there are many different ways that I could draft this. And I think my plan, oh my, is to, I don't know if I'm going to go down the whole length. Maybe I will. Just pulling it apart. Just to be working with a thinner section. And I'm going to have to get reused to how drafting and everything works. Oh my gosh. And trying my best to get it so that way you guys can see me do this as well. Now, I'm not going to be filming. What I don't have is something to stop the wheel from spinning. That is one thing I did not bring in. Now, I'm not planning on filming 100% of this with the DSLR. I just want to get a couple shots here because it's really fun. What is my white balance? Q. Okay, Q, temperature. That's pretty good. Okay, I can get rid of you. And I think I'm a little overexposed. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Guys, I am nervous. I am very nervous. Okay. And I can go back up to the bigger whirl if I need to, but the way I'm going to get started is just overlap the fiber. Oh dear, oh dear. Not go the wrong way. Overlap the fiber with the leader. And here we go. I am spinning. Oh man. How am I doing? The amount of twists. Not bad. These are really thin singles I'm doing. Not bad. Okay. You know what? Let's reduce the tension a little bit. Just to give me a little bit of breathing room. I'm very proud of myself about how thin I'm spinning this right now. Wool of the Andes is a reasonably easy fiber to spin. Oh dear. Come on, lid. Did I actually record that? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Because we're early in the process Okay, this is going much better than plying did yesterday. I want to move that over. And I think that we're just going to spin through a thinner section. I don't know about all of you, but this is what I do, and it works for me. Oh man. I'm just trying to get, like, because the bobbin is a little bit slippery, so I'm just trying to get good coverage. And I wish I could describe what I'm doing now, but I guess I'm just like sort of pinching and pulling. And it can be a lot harder to spin thick singles than it is to spin thinner ones. Just because, oh dear, I'm close by. The reason why it can be harder to spin thicker singles is just because when you have more strands that are going into the twist at any given time, it can be a little harder to draft. And so I'm letting this fiber talk to me and do what she wants. And that is my plan. And I see a chat, but I cannot read it. I hope I'm not under twisting. And then if I need to pause for a moment, what I always do is wrap it around so that way it just sort of stays. Let's see. Hey, only 10 of us liked the video for her. Yes, please like. Don't be nervous. Jim said, nothing says I have to use the band supplied with the wheel, that a heavy cotton would work as well. That is helpful. Now, I'm happening to go down the length of the fiber, and see, I'm just naturally like drafting from a thinner piece, so I pulled a thinner piece out. Let's go here. Nope, let's focus there, which is totally fine. And it's up to you. Like sometimes I might pick fibers and go like along a thicker piece versus going down the length like I'm doing here. The way, as I'm trying to, there we go, let's focus on my hands. The way that I'm doing this here is going to give us smaller sections of color. If I was starting at the top and working down, each color repeat would be much, much longer, because if we look at the way that the fiber is, like imagine the difference if I was drafting and I took from like kind of was going back and forth across the blue versus took a small bit of blue, then going into the purple and the more green and going down that way. Now overall, the color that we have today is very, very subtle. I'm going to take a picture of this now. When I just first started. Okay, and I'm going to put this camera away for a little bit. I just wanted some footage of when I just started. Whoo-wee. But I mean, I know it's small, but hopefully you can see that we have different colors here in the bobbin. And so even though, you know, the average of this is pretty like subtle and similar, we're going to see those little differences, I guess. And now I'm in a position where we're going to end up with something thicker, because I had too many, I let the twist go down too far. but it is okay. And this is why we will eventually ply things. Now, I did not weigh the fiber. That is one thing that I could have done. I could have decided to weigh the fiber ahead of time. So then I would know how much was going on. If I'd weighed the fiber in advance, then I would know how much was going on to each bobbin. And then that would have allowed me to plan for like a 2-ply yarn later. But maybe we'll chain ply. I have not decided how I'm going to ply this. It would be nice to do a 2-ply. If I had wanted to do a 3-ply, that would have involved a lot more planning on my part. Mainly because, so I have the Lazy Kate, so I could do a 3-ply yarn. But the reason why it would require a lot more planning is that then I would have wanted to divide the fiber up into 3, which I could stop now and weigh out what I have left and separate it. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because if the 2 braids, I'll probably spin one onto one bobbin, one onto another bobbin, and then ply it together. Even if I had the exact same number of grams, I'm gonna get a very different yarn. But one nice thing to see to check the twist and how things are going is you can let it fold back on itself. Oh, you know what I can do? I can move this, and I can try to move this so I can see it. I might be able to see it better. Maybe. So you haven't had much time. So I don't know the different types of tension very well. I know that, so mine has, so there's 2 things. There's the drive band, which is what spins everything as the wheel spins. And see, this is when I always get into trouble. There we go. So the drive band is what makes the wheel spin, but then the brake band is what gives you the tension. And so that's what, as I move my hand forward, it makes the bobbin stop spinning, so that way the yarn that I've just spun can be taken up onto the bobbin. And so you want it to pull enough so that way as I move my hand forward, it will accept that fiber without causing a problem. But I don't want it to go fast enough that that it breaks the yarn. And if the yarn breaks, we can fix it. So there's nothing, it's very forgiving. Now the nice thing about Wool of the Andes roving is that it is a very forgiving fiber. Now as for the staple length, I guess you can't see my other hand very well. I can feel where I have my second hand is where I can feel the fibers being pulled from. And so I'm doing this by feel, like I'm drafting with my front hand, but I'm sort of hanging on to things and feeling the fibers move forward on my other hand. And so that is going to be part of what blends everything together. Because as I am spinning right here, some of this pink here is starting to get pulled forward. And so that softens and blends all these colors together even more. So even if we had really harsh color transitions, the color transition spinning would not be harsh. There would be blending in there. Whoop. I'm wondering, I'll make my face even smaller for while I am spinning. Now, one other thing I realized is that in all the repairs we did the other day, I could have tightened up the little things that are attached to the pedals. I could have pulled those apart, or I could have tightened that ages ago, and I have yarn tied on there because one of them would like flop around, and I realized that is not something I need to do. Oh dear. Ooh, there's a fun section here. There's like a tiny bit of teal, and I can see that as that goes in, I'm getting like really short, variegated barber pole sections that I'm excited about. Okay, now that I have a lot of coverage here on the bobbin, I'm not as worried about oh, that's going to be a really nice 2-ply. I'm not as worried about like it overfilling and sort of spilling over. And I don't know how to describe it, but just like when you wind a bobbin on your like sewing machine, it sort of moves the strand back and forth, because if you just keep winding the yarn in one spot, then eventually it'll like spill over from where you've put it. I don't know the words. If you're just tuning in, I am spinning some fiber that I dyed. I'm wondering if there's an easy way for me to put this. Now, am I going to be dyeing 100% of this fiber on stream? No. That is not going to work. No, that's not going to show. I was trying to think like if I put some over on the computer, if it would be in frame. There's not really an easy way for me to do that. Some of the spinning will probably happen off stream. But again, who knows? Who knows? Next week, I don't think I'd be spinning, streaming on Friday. Neither kid has camp, so that does definitely affect what is going to be happening in this house. Lucas is actually here right now, but he's upstairs, I think, on his Switch. So there is that. Something is making a noise. I'm not going to worry about that. So the wheel I'm using today is a Kromski Fantasia. I've had it since I was 29, and so what, I'm 41. I got it for my 29th birthday from my in-laws, who I think had no idea what it was, but Keith was like, this is what Rebecca would want for her birthday, and so here we go. Now, how long I will be spinning and just talking about whatever comes to mind depends a little bit on my back, mostly. I wish this stool were a little shorter. So I may need to play around with other devices so that way I can sit without hunching over. Because what I'm finding myself doing is hunching like that. And I'm realizing I should move so I can sit up and be in frame there. Move you guys down. Hee hee. Hey, look at that. I could start it with my Croc. Thank you, Croc. The Crocs I'm wearing are my indoor Crocs. They're basically, I use them like slippers, and they protect me from breaking my toe. Because when I broke my foot, which was right before a big celebration live stream, I forget what year it was now, but I stubbed it on a door frame, and yes, I went one way, my toes went the other, and I broke my foot like here. So below, I mean, like, I broke a toe, but it was in the foot, and so that was really, really annoying, and so now I try to protect my toes. So I have inside Crocs. Oh man. Wait, am I not seeing? No, I'm seeing chat. Okay. Yeah, do you guys have any questions or anything for me? I suppose we could do like an AMA, ask me anything as I'm spinning. Because that is the one problem is I'm like, oh, what should I talk about? What do you guys want to hear me talk about? We're near the end of this first little section. So some spinners will do like a pre-drafting, which I pulled the fiber apart. I did not pre-draft it per se. And by drafting, I mean pulling the fibers apart like I'm doing here, and I pulled that too much. So I'm going to untwist that a little bit. Oh no, it's going to break, isn't it? Nope, we just have a very, very thin section. Yeah, but the drafting is pulling the fibers apart. Let's see. You have a dyeing question. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, I love that I'm moving the mouse around like that's going to make things on the iPad. Is there a way to dye with Wilton's Violet that ensures it will not break? I would say high acid is the way to prevent it from breaking. There was one time I did something with Violet, and gosh, it didn't break like pretty much at all, and I was very, very surprised and perplexed, and I didn't really know what was going on. And then came to realize, oh, what happened was that the acid was too high, so it wasn't breaking. So I think I have a video like not breaking Wilton's Violet. And at high acid, it will stay more purple, but red 3 strikes so fast that you might still see some. The problem is that, and I think that for Wilton's Violet, I didn't swear. I almost swore. I almost swore. I need more. Apologies for almost swearing. You'll search for it. Jacqueline. You're working, so not very chatty. That is fine. Oh no. I need more space. I'm going to reduce the tension. So as the bobbin gets thicker, you have to adjust the tension more. I think that might be the slipping that I was starting to hear. You got the least broken skein from the pH comparison on Black Friday, and you made a hat with it. Oh, awesome. Yeah, so I think the reason why Wilton's Violet breaks as dramatically as it does is that the red 3 pigment is a very large molecule. And so it can't sort of travel. I guess there's more of it, so it gets trapped by the yarn faster than the blue, which I think is smaller. Now, the rate that pigments will bind to yarn is not always based on size, but I think size can contribute. Oh goody, yeah, and so see, we've got, the pink is mostly down there, but as I draft, we're seeing it come up into our yarn, and so that pink is making a much bigger impact, and how big of an impact depends on how thick of a section of yarn I have. But I have knit with some hand spun, but not nearly enough. This is so pretty, you guys. I don't know if you can appreciate that. Oh man. But yeah, I know that this won't be one of my 6-hour streams. I'm going to try very hard to listen to my back and be very good about that. Oh man. Oh, you know what I'm going to do for a minute? Just for a minute. Nope, not there. No, 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 we don't need you anymore. We're going to go here. And I am going to record just a little bit from this angle directly from the computer, because I can see like my hands, the fiber in my lap, and so I think that would be a good thing to do if I want footage that I'll eventually include in my because maybe eventually I'll edit this into a dying to spin video and just talk about what I did and how I did it over streams, or at the very least it'll be a short. It's so funny how like the same videos do so different across different platforms. And like, because like I had a video that only has like a couple thousand views here on YouTube, a short. I keep looking up at the face cam and forgetting I'm not on camera right now. But then it isn't like on YouTube, but then it had like 600,000 views on Facebook. And I'm like, what? Now I am now monetized on Facebook, which is nice. So when I get all those views, I get paid. And so that is really, really good. But yeah, the different platforms, I'm like, I'm not good when it comes to algorithms. So the sound of, oh, I'm glad the sound of the wheel is hypnotic. I was like, I really was hoping that it wouldn't be annoying. Yay! Normally, okay, I can stop recording that now. I can do that again later, and I can go back to camera. I'm curious what yarns people are going for. Oh, funny, more no yak ones. And so as you can see, so the no yak options for the mystery Halloween pre-order there's like fewer of them because it's mostly the yak right now. But if the base that you wanted sold out, send me a message on Etsy, because I have things sort of divided based on the total number of skeins that I want to dye up. Or the max number, but I have some flexibility in there because I have more of a lot of the different bases. Now, the fingering weight yarn is that yak. It's a base I've used a lot and that you're familiar with. The DK weight one is not one I've used before. It is a Superwash Merino yak linen blend, but it is the closest one they have, because I didn't want to bring in the silk one, even though we love silk. I wanted something that felt more earthy for Halloween. Now, on the no yak or the yak, it is going to be the same colorway on each of the bases, but a yak blend starts off as brown, and so the colorway will look different on the yak blends from on the other bases. But let's see. As a 48-year-old who has had 2 back surgeries, definitely listen to your body because you only have one. Yes. Thank you, whomever that was. Only one back, and especially after my back injury, was it last summer? It was a little over a year ago. So a year ago now, I was in physical therapy twice a week for like a long time. Through November. I think I did the PT July through November. And so, yeah, I'm definitely going to listen. Something is definitely clacking, but it is a very soothing sound. The nice thing is that in theory I could do this and watch TV with like Keith or the kids, but Keith and I, the show we've been watching lately is Wednesday, and new episodes don't come out for a few weeks, and so I didn't realize, I thought they were going to do like weekly drops, and I didn't realize that they were doing like half and then half. Just oogling the, I can't see part of it, the DK on Will to Die For. I know it looks really fun. Oh, when did that slip? I can definitely see there's some spots that are over twisted. And you know what? That's okay. I think when I started off with this, I thought I was going to spin it way thicker. And so then it would be like, boom, 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 we're done. I didn't know that we're going to have like a long project here. But that's also okay. But look at me. I've been promising for years that I was going to spin again in streams. The way I used to do it was I would have my phone, because I didn't have all the cameras I have now, so I would have my phone and be far away, and then I was like, you can't really see anything. And so, yeah, maybe I'll need to plan ahead next time and get like people to submit questions on like Instagram or whatever. She is so pretty. I'm going to share a photo to my Instagram stories, just so that way stories, if you want to see a close-up, then you can. Cool. My friend is, oh, I love her, but it's just like we gotta wait to find out what classes the kids are in. No, I'm pretty sure, let's see, I'm a spinner too, and you might need knee surgery. Ooh, yeah. Trying to untwist. No, got too much. I'm not good at like redrafting. There we go. Yeah, so we're waiting to find out. The bigger question for me is what team Lucas will have for 6th grade. And hoping that he's with friends that are coming from multiple different elementary schools, and so that is good. For Ryder, we're pretty sure, so his 3rd grade teacher is going to be teaching 4th grade, so we're pretty sure, because we did not opt out of looping, we're pretty sure he'll have the same teacher that he had last year, which has, like, there's pros and cons, right? But that's why they gave families a chance to opt out. But of course, it's not guaranteed, so not everyone who wanted to stay will get to stay, and so that is still a question. They try to put the kids with the best teacher for them, but I didn't know how to request people for 6th grade, and so I don't know if the 5th grade teachers give recommendations on like kids that should be together or separated, and oh, I'm so stressed. Because I know the kids are stressed, and so, yeah. How much yarn does this roving produce using the size yarn that I'm spinning now? This is a great question. I think from just, and now I haven't checked the wraps per inch. I'm probably spinning a fingering weight single right now. And so it might be like a probably would be like a sport weight 2-ply. But the thing I've always struggled with is estimating the yardage. And because like I like to knit like shawlettes and things, and so part of me, oh goody, I'm getting some fun barber pull right now. part of me always wanted to try to get out of 100 grams, I was wanting to get at least 400 yards would be what I'd hope for, and I would struggle to do that. And I know that my spinning is denser than a commercial yarn with a similar number of wraps per inch. And so what I used to do, and this is a reason why like the other yarn on the bobbins hibernated for a while, is that at the end I would do the wraps per inch, which if you don't know what that is, are we going to stay? Yes, we are. So you could do it on anything. You could do anything to figure out how thick your yarn is. And so here's a little tool that is round and has the inches measured. And so you can wrap up to 3 inches, count how many wraps there are, and then divide that to get the wraps per inch. And so a fingering weight yarn would have 19 to 20 wraps per inch. A sport, 15 to 18, DK, 12 to 14, etc., etc. And so then there's this handy like chart that I have that recommends like what you can use. But I have always found that for a similar like yarn that I might buy, like if it's worsted yarn, I would expect 220 yards approximately per 100 grams, and I don't get that much. So that is something that I am not good at. And is one of the reasons why I still consider, yeah, there's a lot I don't know. I have played around with a few different spinning and plying techniques. And so one of the things I recommend, and I don't think I'm an affiliate with Paradise Fibers anymore, but if you want to learn spinning, I do recommend the Paradise Fibers Fiber of the Month Club, because they give you different types of fiber each month. So you get different fiber blends, different fiber contents, different types of colorways. And so then the nice thing is there are going to be some colorways that you get that you're going to be like, I love this. This is so me. This is my favorite. I want to do something special. And so then you know what ends up happening? You end up saving it and not spinning it. Or at least that's what I do. Because I'm like, oh, this is something so special that you don't want to, quote, waste it, which is a shame. Okay, what I need to do is I need to increase the tension because I'm getting overspun in some areas. I'm also going slow and holding it. And so doing a Fiber of the Month Club is a great way to start out because some of my favorite yarns ever are the result of, sorry, let's get through this, whatever. I'm going to get like a slub or something here. Just fine. Sorry, I need to get back to good rhythm. I don't remember what I was saying. I lost my train of thought working on the yarn. If anyone wants to remind me what I was saying, that would be great. Let's see. Yeah, it has totally escaped my brain. Totally and completely. Yeah, and I think over time you would get better at knowing. But yeah, I used to, when I would finish yarn that I've spun, I would take it, I would wind it onto a niddy-noddy, count how many wraps there were on my niddy-noddy, to then estimate the final yardage. And that is what I would do. And then be frustrated that I didn't quite have enough to make like whatever it was I thought I wanted to make with it. And so then you know, then it would be like back to the drawing board again to try to do whatever it is that I wanted to do. All right, I'm going to take a break. And by a break, not a live stream break, just a spinning break. My hands are, nope, nope, do not wheel, balance. Nope, nope, don't move. There we go. No, come on. There we go. It's like, don't move, just stay, stay. Whew. Cause yeah, I get distracted. I'm gonna take a break and I'm gonna stretch. Sorry for the hands cracking. Stretch, move my body. She's looking pretty though. Take another picture. I'm like, how close is this to the last one I just did? Whew. Different enough. Oh man, let me think. Yeah, I'm gonna stand for a bit. I am feeling sore. I wonder if the problem is I need no wheel. You are bad girl. Stop. Bad girl. Yeah, I feel like, because what did I used to sit on? I'm going to go compare this to some of my other chairs and see if I have something else. Okay, the stool is like an inch higher than this chair. I have like a seating pad on it, so maybe that'll be better for my back. Whew. I spend a lot of my time in this like swivel rocking chair, which I love. I love my swivel rocking chair. I spend so much time in it. And I love that, like, I can shift and it moves the chair in any which way. So if I feel like I'm comfortable, it's really good for, like, my brain if I'm going to be in a chair for a while, because I can, like, shift and that's easy. So, okay. I started to say earlier, some people will pre-draft their fiber, and so they'll pull it, right, to separate the different sections. But I don't know if you can see, it is harder, like when you have a thicker section and you pull, it's not going to pull apart super easily. And that is because there are so many strands that you have that they can't slide against each other. And so if you have like a thinner piece and are pulling a little bit, it's easier to pull that out and you can feel it pulling from much further away. So there is that. Oh man. Yeah, if I was in my like rocking chair, which is where I would spin the most, we'll see if this helps. If I was in that chair, then if I was in that chair, then it would be harder for me to have the cameras set up in a way that I wouldn't hit the camera, you know? Oh good, I already moved that. Let's go down there. Yeah, it would be just way harder. Now, different fiber types are more and less challenging to spin. So another good fiber for beginners is silk. Is really hard to break and to accidentally like pull. Like here I pulled it and I pulled intentionally and I pulled out all the fiber. The staple length of silk is so long that that's much harder to do. Yeah, lower seating does work better. I just don't remember what chair I used to use to spin. If it was my if it was the rocking chair or if I used something else. And so we will just have to see and we will experiment. But I have a feeling I'm going to be getting through like half of this braid. We'll see. We will see. Doo, doo, doo. Oh man, this week Ryder has camp and Lucas did not. And so poor kid, he's upstairs. And if the doorbell rings because there's neighborhood kids wanting to like check out, like if he's around, then I would just like send him outside on his bike or something. But we'd have to get either his brother's watch or his phone. Oh dear. Which would be complicated because there's a lot of stuff in the way. But yeah, if I very quickly, and I mean we'd hear the doorbell ring and stuff, go into like a stream on pause, it's because I'm dealing with teenagers, or not quite teenagers, preteens, who are awesome. And I love the neighborhood kids, but it's just, yeah, I was like, the doorbell could ring at any moment. I think there was a video I was editing recently and at the end, and I was like, I think that the doorbell is just in there because I didn't, when I went back to finish what I was filming, I was like, oh no, I can't quite edit around it. And it's just there. Oh man. So I have this on this chair. I have like the seat cushion from Yoga and again, this is not sponsored or anything, but we have 2 Yoga bean bags that pretty much permanently live in my living room. So they pretty much permanently, what is squeaking? It's gonna bug me. So the beanbag chairs pretty much permanently live in the living room. And I was getting some from my dad, and there was like a Black Friday promotion. So I ended up with this seat cushion that is supposed to be like one you can take outside to use like on bleachers and stuff, which would be great. I do have oil I can use on the wheel. I just wish I could tell where it was squeaking. And if that's why I have this yarn that is there to keep it, like, who's squeaking? But yeah, and I'm like, so that definitely makes this chair a little higher again, but hopefully because I can then like adjust my weight and my seat, then maybe that'll make that a little better. But we'll see. Do, 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 do. Oh, you know who's squeaking? The brake band. The friction there. So one thing I was surprised about was that this fiber has very, very little I'm like trying to like analyze where I think the squeak is coming from. I can't tell. This it's distracting me though. Let's see. because it could be just squeaking against the bobbin. Come on. What was I going to say? I don't remember. This is the thing with like a slow stream like this, is that my brain, what is going on? My brain will get really distracted because I'm focusing on multiple things at once, which happens when I'm dyeing yarn too. But when I'm doing a yarn dyeing live stream, there's a point in time where I'm very clearly focusing on the dyeing. And I do that all the time, so therefore it's really easy for me to do that. And then a time where I sit down and I can answer questions and read comments. And I wish I could figure out where what if we do this? Okay. I think it has something to do. So if it is, I'll have Keith help me later. No, I think it's the wheel spinning itself. I have some oil, I think. Somewhere I have some oil that is meant for the spinning wheel. And so it could be like in here, in which case that is going to be an easy thing to test. It's just would be helpful to have another pair of hands. Yeah, I think it's coming from the wheel. Sometimes the bobbin or flyer could be a little bit out of alignment. Yeah. Do I feel any resistance? So maybe let's take everything apart. See, this is what's hard. Because I do feel potentially a little bit of resistance. Let's do the flyer. We'll do an empty bobbin. We've got the brake band is loose. it's because, fine, you want to do this. Why is it? Oh, it's hitting the, fine, the brake band is too loose. The squeaking is definitely coming. It has something to do with somewhere. Yeah. Seems to happen every time I press the right foot, but only when there's resistance of the spindle. Interesting. So that is something I don't know how to troubleshoot, but thank you, chat. I was like, I don't know how to troubleshoot that more. Okay. Because the spots that I can oil do not include the bobbin. Yeah. Cool. Okay, see. You oil your flyer. Okay, I'll do that like with Keith. I mean, I think I'm not. Oh dear. Let me focus on the join. There we go. Yeah, because some of the resistance that I'm feeling is coming from just like the spinning and the brake band and everything. Because like I'm feeling a lot of resistance right now, but it's also, I forget which way you have to change the, what the hell? As it gets thicker, I forget the way you have to change the tension. It was like, oh, I was feeling a ton of resistance right then. So maybe I had just had the tension too high. But it's funny, whatever we did seems to have stopped it for a bit. So that's good because it was getting... Yeah, I think that at that point the brake band was too tight. I have to remember that you guys are on a bit of a delay, so you have a couple minute delay from what is happening. Oh man, but then I am so excited. So tomorrow there's like a massive Pokemon Go event, and so we are so excited to play. And Keith is like, I'm going to stay and do chores while you and the kids are out all day. I was never able to get Keith into Pokemon, but I got both kids into it. So I guess that's a win. I've never been able to figure out, there's some people who can like draft, and they'll draft with like the things folded and can draft that way, and I've never been able to figure out quite how to do that. But guys, I would say for having not spun anything for a few years, I'm catching up. Oh man, I almost need like, you know, royalty-free music that I could play in the background, and so then we could just like chill with some music and some spinning. The problem with that though is that like one wrong thing being played and then they can claim the entire stream, which is then unfortunate. Oh man. See, I'm hearing like a little bit of a continuous squeak right now, but I'm not worried about that. I wonder how much, I don't think I've even spun half of it today. I will say this chair is doing better for my back. It's just takes up a bigger footprint. You can lean back a little more, adjust, versus the stool was so straight that I kind of had to just like stay. But the other thing, and the bigger thing that is probably why when I finish like this bit is why I will stop, is because my hand is getting tired from just pinching. And I find that my hand, and so that's just something that I would need like stamina to do again, or gosh, I could figure out if I could draft with the other hand. But where I'm feeling it is like in the thumb. I don't know if I could. Yeah, I was like, can I do the reverse? And I was like, nope, 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 that does not work. That does not work for me. Does not work for me to, okay, we'll oil like all the like spinny bits down here. Trying to change hands. But I'm trying to be very careful with any like repetitive stress type things. So I'll notice that sometimes I'll get this irritation in my hand when I speckle. If I'm doing a ton of speckling, and so then I'm doing a lot of pinching dye and like spreading it out, eventually my hand will start to get tired. I'm doing great. Off the fold took you a while to get the hang of. Thank you for telling me I'm doing great. I appreciate that. I hope this is entertaining. And I'd appreciate honest feedback from everyone if you're watching the replay, if this is something that I should do more of, because I plan to try to do another one next week, but clearly like we're so far from applying, and so whether or not like after August, I don't think that I would be doing this every single Friday, but maybe once in a while we can have some time where, you know, I would sit and spin. But yeah, the other question I always have is, what should I talk about? Oh, you know what I could do? It's like, no, no, you are gonna stay and not everything is falling down. Let's see. Okay. All right, we're gonna have to move the stool. See, I'm in this crimped little everywhere. I can't wait to see the finish yarns at every spinner ever. Like, I know this is the same angle as before. Okay, I'm just getting a close-up of me spinning some, which you can't even really tell that anything is going on. So you just see the flyer spinning around. Then it stops and you see the yarn, and so that's really pretty. Because, you know, then for next time I can do like a short or something that can go along with this. Yay! And so now that stops. This is where we are after day 1. Actually, I like this as a transition. Okay. This is where we are after day 1. Some movement is kind of fun. Okay, I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to put this guy away. EOS 90D. This is what I film everything on. The lens I use is a Canon 18 to 135 millimeter lens. Love her. Very afraid of this starting to have the issue that I had with my other one where it would... So the 80D is currently stuck. This button here is stuck, and I need to send it to Canon to get it fixed, which is kind of annoying. Let's see. Frank is a running commentary going on. That's awesome. Thank you, everyone. You're currently making roll eggs, but a tip for your hands. I have to do mostly a short or long backwards draft, so I don't injure myself. Yeah, so it's just the pinch here. And so I don't know how to do it different, but I'm feeling, so my hand is feeling tired and I'm feeling it in my elbow too. So this, but sitting in the proper chair, and this is the cushion that I was telling you about. It's just like a very simple cushion. That could be a big help. Conceivably for the future. But what I can do now is try to give you guys a better close-up of what we've created today. You gonna focus? Come on, camera. You can't edit the focus right now. Come on. Oh, you're gonna make me do this the hard way, aren't you? Oh, now we're doing it. So there we go. Very pretty. Oh yeah, I love the little barber pole. Now the barber poling in here is going to be so subtle because the colors in our fiber are so subtle. And then the color in the yarn is going to get even more subtle and blended when we ply it, because, and then when you look close, you'll still see all those little elements. But the more you kind of combine the colors together, the more when you step back, it's going to look like even more blended and subtle. So that kind of goes on and on and on. But I can swap over. Nope, not there. Here. We don't even look at my legs anymore. We can look at, oh, my vacuum. Lovely that that's in shot. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You guys. All right. Now, don't forget that the Halloween pre-order is currently available in the ChemKnits Creations Etsy shop. And now this camera's out of focus. Come on, guys. Come on, world. Camera. It's because I leaned forward. And it's gonna make me manually fix the focus. See, the difference between me and a lot of other streamers is that if you're a video game streamer, usually you sit in one spot and you don't move around, and then you have your keyboard right here, so you don't have to like lean forward. But because I have the wheel in between me and the computer, that makes this whole setup really wonky and challenging. If I were to design a studio for myself someday, which would be designed in a way for me to film easily, I'd want like mounts so I could have the cameras top down. Oh, it would be great. But I would have it set up with a huge monitor on the wall and a way that I could zoom in so I can see the chat really big. That's what I want. Oh man, but yeah, that's what's going in my brain. And of course, the other question, which you don't have to weigh in on this, is how much hair should I cut? I'm not getting the haircut until like September, I think is when it's scheduled. But I'm thinking of keeping length, but adding more like layering in the front. But we'll see. Maybe I'll chop it and go short again. Hi, Andy. Yeah. Did you miss it? Maybe. I'm stopping now because I'm listening to my body and my hand is getting tired. But this is where we've ended up, and the replay is going to be here. And so then you can rewatch what I did, including all the little mistakes. But guess what? I successfully spun yarn, the thing I've been promising to do for, 3 years? I finally did. Maybe longer. Oh, but yeah. Oh, it feels good. Oh, and I mean, you guys can't see. Here, I'll do one thing. I'm going to pop this back on the wheel. And so what I'm very happy about, I can't believe that this stretched. Can I, how should I leave that? I want less tension on it, whatever. The thing that I'm really happy about is that there's not a lot of yarn in here that has too much twist, if that makes sense. It's really easy to have too much twist. And so when you twist something so much that then it like twists in on itself and you get this like cool spiral, that's too much twist. You don't want that. That ends up not being soft. And so I'm really, really proud with what I did. I honestly thought that I was going to spin it really thick and chunky and then not know what I was going to do with it. I feel like somewhere I do have a jumbo orifice, which I think is just like a ring that attaches in here. So you bypass this so you can hold the yarn onto here, but I don't know what I did with it. Because I don't think I found that when I was tracking down all of my different spinning supplies. I do wonder what all these random leaders are. Because I just reuse them over and over until they're too short for me to use. But yeah, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this stream. I'm going to try to do another one next week. And then there might be a bigger gap in between when like the streaming and everything happens. Just because of, see, this is how much I still have of this braid versus the other one, which this is still braided. And so it looks like there's still a ton left. I mean, there is, but yeah, it just depends on if I can convince the kids to be quiet for like an hour or two. But that's the nice thing about this versus like a yarn dyeing stream, is that I didn't have to transform my whole kitchen. And so it'll be very easy for me to like put things away and then be like, Lucas, you can come downstairs or whatever. Yeah. You're the king of over twist. And like over twist has its purpose. You can over twist and create art yarn, but I'm just not skilled enough to over twist on purpose to incorporate that into what I'm creating. I'm still learning and working on consistency. But oh, I think that's what I was starting to say earlier. So I was mentioning Paradise Fibers because you get different fiber contents. It's really good for learning because you also then learn what you like and what you don't like. Another club that I've done was Into the World, like WHIRLED. And that was a fiber club that I joined at the beginning that also gave a lot of different colors and blends and wools and fibers. And so it was a really, and that's why I picked it. I picked one that you're not going to get the same fiber content every time, because if you get the same fiber content every time, then you get really comfortable with one thing. And part of the learning about all of this is like, part of all of this is just learning and figuring out what works well. So like merino has a shorter staple length, and superwash merino isn't as grippy. So like the Peruvian Highland wool I was spinning today sticks to itself so easily that it was really easy to correct any mistakes, and I only had one break. With a superwash fiber where it's slicker, things will pull apart a lot easier, and so it takes more time to get into the rhythm of it, if that makes sense. But no, it was just a company sending me a random notification. I'm like, class lists, class lists. There's still a few hours, but anyway. What's coming up next week? Let's look and see and give you a little bit of a heads up. Yes, next week we will have a superwash versus non-superwash video on Tuesday, and then Friday is going to be a the Dye Pot PS from last month, and I still have to finish this one to get early access to ChemKnits patrons. That is still, it is all filmed, I just have to edit it. And maybe that'll be today, but probably not. Just being honest. Cool. Where, okay, I'm like having to find all the various buttons, but yeah. My brain stopped. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And again, right now it's still the live chat, but in the comments after the video, please let me know what you thought. Would you prefer, so I tried to have it set up so that way you could see my hands and the wheel, which is out of focus right now. But I tried to have it set up so you can see my hands and the wheel, but then you're not getting a close-up of the yarn. I could set this up in a way where I have a much closer view of the bobbin itself, but then you wouldn't be able to see my hands if I gave you like a really close view, because I could have the camera like here or something. And so you'd probably be able to have the bobbin and like and see the whole flyer, but my hand and the fiber would be, because I do that like back here, would be mostly out of view. So I tried to pick an angle. Well, also I tried to get the whole wheel in. Now I did think about trying to have a way to set this up with multiple camera angles in theory, but then I wouldn't be able to have a mouse. In theory, I could add a third camera to the setup, but then I'd have to somehow fit another tripod in somewhere, probably right here, which is where I put the other camera to get some like beauty shots for a short. And so that would be trickier. Or because there's the camera on the laptop itself that maybe I could angle. There's just a limited number of inputs on the computer, and so that's a limiting factor. I do have one more web camera that I could use, and so that is something that I would need to figure out later on. But anyway. Whew. Prefer to see your hands doing the work, not just the finished product. Awesome. Awesome. I wish if YouTube still had stories where I could post photos, then I could post those onto YouTube easily as well. But it's funny. It's like I guess it opened up my camera roll, and so all the stuff that I had taken pictures of recently. But anyway, I'm like, I need to sign off, but I'm just like hanging out. We're having fun. Yeah, because then I also, like, I could have zoomed in more, but a lot of times then the hands are over here. It's just hard to figure out where to put my face. I suppose, conceivably, I could put my face like down here, but then I also like having part of me blocked in case I lean forward, because in the event that someone shows up, I like to be like covered, so that it's the balance. You guys agree with Jim? Awesome. Okay, thank you. So I will try to keep things like this, because I could probably do like have it set up so that way, you know, I could have a view of the same camera that is more zoomed in. It's probably very pixelated. And I'm curious what this is going to look like as I do it. Oh, that actually looks pretty smooth. So I could do something like that, so then I could still swap between it to give more of a view. And it looks a little grainy to me, because it is grainy, because I just zoomed in, like, it was like I zoomed into the pixels. I made the individual pixels bigger. So anyway, but I'm done. Oh, you guys. Oh, it's been a week. And yeah, I'm probably Lucas would be like, okay, Mom, let's go do like I don't know, a Suicune raid or something. We'll see. I was like, I haven't checked to see what Pokemon are at the local power spots. But anyway, if you know, you know. But anyway, I am Rebecca from ChemKnits. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go check out all the yarn in the ChemKnits Creations Etsy shop. I have it linked pinned in the chat, and it'll be down in the video description as well. And the nice thing is that if you're going to Etsy with the link that I share, then they refund part of the fee they take from sellers, which is handy. But never stress about that. But that is super, super handy. If you go to like chemknitscreations.etsy.com, then I get credit for referring my own sale, which is handy. But anyway, yes, I am done. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon. Tentatively next Thursday, but I don't know which days there's like back to school things. So I will get that figured out, and then you'll see a scheduled event, and so then we'll know. Okay, bye everyone.